Saul, just being is simply to express the love that you are. As you continue to wait expectantly and perhaps a little impatiently for your awakening, I want to reassure you that the divine plan for humanity is unfolding precisely as God intends. Her will for you is utter and eternal joy, and therefore that is what you will shortly experience. Do not be distracted by the collective worldwide egotistical dramas on which the media constantly attempt to focus your attention. It is a distraction that encourages you to look for more of the same, instead of spending time just being. For the vast majority of you, the most helpful, supportive, effective, and powerful way you can spend your time as you greatly assist in the awakening process truly is to just be. No effort is required because just being is simply to express the love that you are, and doing that is God's will and yours. God's will is always achieved, and deep within yourselves you do know this. However, because of your free will choice to experience unreality, separation from God, when you incarnate in human form your memory of reality is hidden from you, and you enter a state of amnesia. The result is that your physical environment, your bodies, objects, and the world around you, appears to be the one and only reality, because that was your intention when you produced it. And because your self-awareness is focused almost exclusively on your bodies and their senses, your human personal identities, you often believe yourselves to be inevitable, even compulsory participants in many of those dramas. That arouses a sense of guilt or responsibility, as all are indeed one, and thus many of you strongly desire to assist in bringing them to a closure in order to end the pain and suffering that so many are undergoing. But as you know, the only way forwards is through love. Love is all. Every sentient being is a being created in love from love by God, who is utter, complete, and infinite eternal love. Love is all that exists and all that will ever exist. Whatever you experience in form that is in any manner unloving is unreal, an illusion that will disintegrate back into nothingness, into non-being when you collectively choose to awaken in the arising moment of NOW. You have already made the collective choice to awaken from the drama and nightmare, and vast numbers of you are spending much time thinking about it, discussing what it means, and wondering how you can best assist in bringing it to fruition. But your human intellects, even the most brilliant ones, cannot possibly conceive of the best way for you to move forwards, or what to expect when you do awaken, as you are so soon to do. To awaken is to be once more fully and consciously aware in every moment of your oneness with God, as you live in utter and complete joy. However, because you use your human forms as a means to attempt to get an impression, a vision of what that means, you also, through your egos, allow fear and doubt to distract you from just being the love that each one of you is. Just be love by loving yourselves and all sentient life in every moment, and not only for a few moments while you pray or meditate, but constantly, thus allowing your true nature to shine out and express itself through you. You are love, eternally and in every moment of your existence. Acknowledge that divine truth, express it, and live it in every communication, interchange, engagement, or interaction with yourself and, of course, with all others. You are all most beautiful divine beings, but you allow your egos to persuade you that this cannot possibly be true, and so they fill you with intense feelings of unworthiness and inadequacy, and encourage you to compare yourselves regularly to others, either negatively or positively. To compare yourself to another is utterly meaningless, because you are each unique and perfect divine creations. You can only be you, and I do not think any of you would prefer to be someone else, even if you might admire them greatly. You are you, and that cannot and will not ever change, because you were created to be just who you are. You are each unique individuals created in the image of God, and so she expresses herself uniquely through each one of you, but only if you will allow her to do so. You do have free will, it is part of who you are, and she will never override your will, even if it is used thoughtlessly, unlovingly, fearfully, or angrily, because she loves you absolutely unconditionally in every moment. Therefore, trust your divine Creator, invite her love to fill your hearts and embrace you, and then intend to be conduits or channels through which the absolute abundance of her love and yours flows constantly to magnificently assist in humanity's awakening. Now, only you, each individual, can express the love that God wishes to express through you. Therefore you are each essential and irreplaceable expressions of God. In allowing Him to express Himself through you, by choosing to be only loving whatever arises, you can begin to really understand that statement from Jesus 2,000 years ago, "I and my Father are one," as you become increasingly aware that that statement is also true and valid for each of you. There is no separation, there never has been, it is an unreal state that you dreamt up and from which you are soon to awaken. In these last few moments, do remember that time is a major aspect of the illusion, and is unreal, of experiencing the pain, suffering, and fear with which your egos present you as they continue in their attempts to convince you either that there is no God, or that you are unworthy to be in her presence. Allow yourselves to invite her to fill your hearts with the intense knowing that she loves you and wants you to feel her love, thus dissolving any doubts to which you may still be clinging about your worthiness. You are her perfect divine children, that is an unalterable fact, and, therefore, there is absolutely no way that you could ever be unworthy to be in her presence, knowing her in all her glory as your mother. Relax into your true nature and know that you will awaken, because no other outcome is even remotely possible. With so very much love, Saul. The objective is consciousness. Make the unconscious conscious. The energy for the final breakthrough step is building among the people, and on a day that no one can predict, completely unexpectedly, the full extent of all lies will come to light and be seen by the masses. They will discover that they have been grandiosely conned by their own rulers. By now, hundreds of millions of people have discovered that a bribery network exists worldwide, using blackmail and brainwashing to gain influence in every area of our society, to push through their nefarious agenda of world domination out of public awareness. They discovered the iron grip of the deep state cabal, which traffics people worldwide to provide victims for ritual abuse and sacrifice. In exchange for these practices, these cronies receive astronomical financial power. Seeing the reality of this widespread and well-organized crime is the first step in the awakening process. Awaken the crowd and work together for total liberation of planet Earth. Because, the deep state's mission to every government, always and everywhere, is to enable the few to exploit the many. The debt money system is a clever way to achieve this. The modern world of industry, trade and investment, operates on win-win software. Only government with its battles, wars, tax levies, and their don't-do orders, and prohibitions, continues to operate on prehistoric programming. Namely, pluck the population bare as much as possible, without them rebelling. As long as the unconscious does not become conscious, it will control your life and you call it your destiny. Carl Jung. If planet Earth introduces another matrix system based on four main factors, environment, health, food, and happiness, more jobs will be created to naturally restore and improve our world. When people wake up and realize that the purpose of life is different from applied government policies, which strip citizens bare to the bone, it will be understood that these policies can never have any positive effect. Be happy with your sanity in life, forget about the corrupt government because it will be removed. Some say money buys happiness, but money can only buy material things. Real wealth comes from within, e.g. by using real money, making real things and providing services, which is the opposite of debt. This needs no further explanation. Everyone accepts a gold coin as is, with no backstory or balance sheet statement. This is how real money works, it closes transactions. You accept payment and the account is settled. The deep state that cleverly manipulates us and enslaved us through the money system cares less and less about whether or not we accept their carefully cultivated 5-sense 3D fake reality that forms the illusion in this world theater. The house of cards is slowly crumbling, whereby more people perceive the strings directing the government puppets. These are the so-called elected politicians. The woke perceive how the puppeteers pull the strings. They are no longer hidden in the shadows as before. Everything that comes to us now is timely. It is cosmic intelligence directing all movements in the infinite universe. Our consciousness and oneness are at odds with the deep state social engineering programs. Some understanding is needed to identify the social engineering programs of the global elite and how not to fall victim to them. The global elite want 90% depopulation. They want total control and surveillance of every aspect of your life. They want socialism, with power and wealth in their own pockets, in other words communism. Consciousness and oneness are a direct impediment to these plans. Therefore, they want to take away everything of value from INS. They do this in the name of preserving planet Earth and climate improvement, arguments that are lies. If everyone is quarantined and driven around in electric vehicles with limited range, they can better control us. Be assured that all climate and other new provisions are designed to lock the rest of us up in restricted designated areas. Below, Vital Frosai explains what climate change really means. The fire elements. Beloveds, most of you have heard something about the elements of nature on planet Earth. Until some time ago, there were 4 elements: water, air, earth, and fire. Then it was discovered that there was a 5th element, ether. When we say that planet Earth is a living being, we are in fact acknowledging that it is these elementals that gives it life. For a long time, humanity has separated the consciousness of man from the consciousness of other people on this planet. But as we expand our knowledge about the creation of worlds, we begin to understand that everything is one consciousness. Whether it is a human consciousness or another, animal, vegetable, mineral or even elemental, they are always part of a larger consciousness, which is the consciousness of Gaia. This in turn is part of the consciousness of this local solar system, which is part of the consciousness of the entire galaxy. The galaxy is part of the consciousness of its universe, and then of the multiverse and finally of the source, which created everything in the infinite cosmos. So there is only one consciousness, which emanates from this source, also called God. Nothing is separate from it, for it is this, which constantly takes care of the creation of worlds and things. We are one with Source and everything converges with it, as its movements are always in the form of a spiral. It is this movement that sustains the life of everything. Life and death are part of this ongoing spiral. But it is not quite as we always imagine, because nothing has an end. As Lavoisier said, "Nothing is created, nothing is lost, everything is transformed." Source emits this energy and transforms that, which exists at all points of cosmic infinity. Each planetary, stellar, galactic or universal world has its own characteristics, i.e. a specific form of consciousness, because otherwise it would make no sense. The Creator himself can make his experiences, within this mechanism that exists in every form of consciousness. And the Earth, as a planet, has its personal and non-transferable characteristics. We are not going to talk here today about human consciousness, nor about the other animal, plant and mineral realms. We are going to talk about the consciousness of Gaia. She uses the necessary means for her survival and evolution. And the 5 elements of nature are fundamental in this process. They make a movement similar to the metabolism of a human body. The main function of the elementals is the cleansing and hygiene of the planetary body. Without this cleansing, the planet would become intoxicated and life on it would perish due to lack of energy. Water, as well as air and fire, are most important in this cleansing and purification because they are in fact the most visible movements. Each element has its specific property, which is the consciousness within the group consciousness, which in turn are also part of the consciousness of Gaia and Source. As elements act on behalf of their host, which is the planetary body of Gaia. They are like soldiers in an army, defending on command. The fire elements are the salamanders. The most sensitive people can feel and even see this form when something is burning, when the flames form fires. But they are always everywhere, even when no fire is burning. This is possible because they are consciousness. The mere presence of the salamanders warms planet Earth and maintains the pleasant climate we know. It is not sunlight that warms, as we have always believed. In fact, sunlight is cold, that is, it does not directly affect the temperature, so much so that at 10,000 meters above us, the temperature is between -50 to 60 degrees Celsius lower. What does heat up are the elements on the surface. Remember, these are fire, even if they do not show themselves in the form of flames. The more they are present, the more the temperature rises in that place. It is they who organize the seasons in terms of temperature variations. These variations promote the necessary biospheres on this planet. The life of anything always depends on an energy chain that is necessary for its continuity. The elements provide this chain. We are at the end of the planetary transition. Everything is going to change on this planet and the elements are doing the work of energetic adjustment that guarantees the life and transformation that is coming now. We have already observed this movement, in the increased movement of air, water and fire. More intense winds, extraordinary rains and even fires in many parts of the planet. We do not see the other two elements as active, but they are working silently. The earth element absorbs waste so that it does not accumulate on the crust, and the ether transmutes the polluted atmosphere. Everything has intensified recently because the cleanup is intense. They are preparing the planetary home for the new earth that is now being installed. The temperature rise we have been observing lately may even intensify, but we should be careful with the media stories. They want us to believe that expensive measures are necessary, which is not true. Nothing and no one can change the picture within that, which is part of the transition. There is a divine plan for everything, and that will realize the changes in a way that does not involve more serious consequences for humanity. Of course, those who disrespect something or someone will bear the consequences of their actions, for this is part of the laws of cause and effect, which govern human consciousness. No one pays for the mistakes of others, this is also one of the divine laws. Remember, we have had past lives, which still have consequences in the present incarnation. The portal voices of multidimensionality brought on, August 1st, 2023, under the annotation that said, "Salamanders multiply in this momentum." Not coincidentally, we have a hot summer in the northern hemisphere and a less cold winter in the southern hemisphere. Yesterday, a meteorological report also reported that Santa Catarina State had an atypical day, with temperatures ranging from 0 to 30 degrees. Here too, the salamanders are on. Let us not believe those who have always misled us. Let us pay homage to the voice of our soul that is now beginning to tell us what has always remained hidden. As our consciousness expands, it joins the consciousness of Gaia and the universal and cosmic consciousness and brings the energy of transformation. We have nowhere to run or hide because we are part of the whole and the one. Resistance to change is usually the cause of our pain. Consider this. I am Vital Frosai and my mission is enlightenment. Namaste.